What's up everyone, welcome back. Here we've got a fairly straightforward tutorial. We're just going to install Semantic UI and we're going to get our project set up and ready for us to use, because in the next section we want to jump right into exploring some individual components. So our steps here are going to be to first install node.js. If you've already installed that, that's great. You can basically skip a step there. After this, we're going to install Gulp. That's only going to take a minute or so. And then we'll start a new npm project. We'll run that npm init to get ourselves set up. And once we have that project ready to go, we'll install Semantic UI into that project. We might as well start up an index.html file and install the necessary headers as well, just so that next section we can launch right into the actual development. So let's head on over to the Semantic UI website again. This is just semanticui.com. And I've clicked on Getting Started. That's going to be this link at the top left here. So this actually gives you most of the installation instructions. It doesn't actually say anything about starting an npm project, so I'll guide you through the entire process. You can follow this or follow along with me. So that first step again is going to be getting your hands on node.js. If you don't have Node.js, then you can search for it under download Node.js or something like this. We can go to that downloads page and just download the correct installer, Windows or Mac, 32 or 64-bit, depends on which system you're using. Once that installer comes up, then simply open up the package, install Node.js, and when you're ready to move on, we'll go to the next part of this, which is going to be installing Gulp. So let's get terminal up and running. For you Windows users, this will be command prompt. You want to make sure that you're running command prompt as an administrator, or some of these commands may not work. For those of you who are using Macs, just type in sudo before any command to give those administrative privileges. So we'll install Gulp. We'll do sudo npm install g gulp. So make sure you have the dash and gulp. Windows users, just enter your password. Windows users, you can do this command without, or npm install without sudo. Okay, so if you're using Windows, you're running this on an administrative command prompt, don't include the sudo portion. Okay, so it's updated one package, that's good. If you've never installed it before, it will say success, installation success or something like that. Assuming that you have no problems there, let's move to the next portion. So at this stage you do need to have npm ready to use. So we'll now start up a new project folder. You can do so in the command prompt. I find it a little easier to do so in Finder, especially easier for you guys to see. So I have this Semantic UI project that's just under desktop, Zenva, Bootstrap Semantic UI. Just find a good place for your project. We're going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call this something like practice. Maybe that's, we'll do it like practice project, something like that is fine. Alright, and then we're going to need to navigate to that practice project in our terminal now. So just take a second to do that. I'm just going to navigate to where that is now. Okay, and ls, we're going to go right into that practice project folder, or whatever you've called yours. There shouldn't be anything in there right now. We're going to initialize npm, so I'm going to do npm init right here. Okay, and we can have this package name practice project, that's fine. Version I don't care about, or description. Entry point is fine. Test command doesn't matter. Git repo doesn't matter. Keywords and author, they also don't matter. License, that's fine. Is this okay? We'll just go with yes. This is just modifying our JSON file, by the way. So if you do want to specify stuff in there, like a specific author, specific description, please feel free to go ahead and do so. But for me, this is just practice, so I'm not going to bother filling it in. So if we do an ls, we should now see this package.json file. So we're on the right track. Now what we'll do is we'll actually install the Semantic UI into this project. So we're going to go, actually, I'll make sure we're doing sudo. For those of you who are Windows users, don't bother with sudo. But we'll do sudo npm install semantic -UI, 2 dashes, and then save like so. Alright, and now this is going to take a few seconds, and then it's going to prompt us to kind of do a similar thing to up here. So it's going to ask us to use either a custom installation, an express installation, or the default automatic installation. Okay, so whichever one is more convenient, which is probably going to be the automatic one, unless you really know what you're doing. You can do the custom one if you like, but I'd recommend just going automatic for now. So you see it pops up this. There's a few options to choose from. You can scroll through them with the arrow keys and then press enter to select. So I'll just go with automatic, that's fine. It's saying, yep, you're using npm, is this your project folder? So do make sure that that project folder is correct. This should be the path to wherever we just created that practice project, okay? So we're going to go ahead and select yes if that's right, or no, let me specify and then pass in that complete project path. So semantic should be in semantic / that's fine, yes, okay. And we're just going to go ahead and let that happen. Okay, so as long as there aren't many warnings here, this is fine. What we're going to do next is install gulp, or rather build gulp, and that will download all of the necessary packages. So if we do an ls now, we should see that we'll have a directory semantic. We're going to cd to that directory, and we should see this gulp file.js. So now we'll just do gulp build. Okay, and this is just going to download and install all the components. So as you can see, it's downloading stuff like site, form, checkbox, dimmer, etc. And this is basically just installing all of these guys that you'll see on the left hand side. So it's giving us access to all of the different components there. So it should just take a few seconds, maybe 15 to 20 or so, and once that's done, then we basically have everything set up and ready to go. Okay, good stuff. Cool, so let's do an ls again. Actually, we'll navigate up. So in our project directory, we should have node modules, we should have package lock, package.json, semantic, and then semantic.json here. So we can go ahead and clear this, and we're actually done with the terminal stuff for now. Alright, so what we'll do next is head on over to a text editor of our choice. I'm going to use Sublime Text. I just really like how it works, how it's laid out, but it really comes down to personal preference, so feel free to use whichever text editor you want. What we're going to do is we're going to start a new file. Okay, this one is going to be simply index.js. So let's go ahead and save that as, or not index.js, this is going to be index.html rather. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that it's in my practice project root directory. This is again that project I just created. So again, Semantic UI, practice project. I'm going to make sure it's in there. Okay, this will automatically make it an HTML file. Again, it doesn't really matter too much which kind of file you're using or which kind of text editor you're using, as long as you have one available. Alright, just going to do a little bit of basic HTML page setup. So we're going to do the doc type HTML like so, and actually I think that's a bit small, so let me make that font a bit bigger. Okay, we'll start with HTML here, and we'll start with the head, and not loving that 4 tab space, we'll just do 2 tabs. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so we've got HTML, now we'll need head and body tags. So we'll do head, okay, and we'll need the body tags as well. Good stuff. So in our head file, we'll just do the classic, a little bit of classic setup. We'll do meta character set, UTF-8 is good. We'll do meta name, so we'll change character set to name. And we're going to do viewport. Okay, content is going to be width equals device width, like so. And when we go ahead and give this guy a title, oops, not time, we want title like so, and this is just going to be our practice. Semantic UI practice. Alright, so this isn't going to be our final project. We can actually create a different project and really get set up there. But for now, this is just going to be a way to practice using Semantic UI. So the next step is going to be to copy and paste some of the get started code in here, as kind of typing it out by hand is a bit of a pain. So we're going to go back to Chrome or whichever browser we have this guy open in. And we're going to scroll all the way down to include in your HTML. Okay, we're going to just take this, I'm going to copy it, and we're going to put it in the file's header. So let's go back to our editor. Okay, and we'll just paste it right in there. Just going to fix the indentation. Let's give this guy a save. And if we want to make sure that we are actually using Semantic UI properly and we do have access to everything, let's just grab one single element and then we'll include it in that page. So back to Chrome, I'm just going to grab, let's say, like a button or something. Okay, so this follow button should look a little bit like this. Just going to grab that, let's copy it, and we're just going to paste it into body. Okay, we'll give this a save. Head on over to where it is in our Finder. Okay, just going to double click on that, open it up, and as long as you see that nicely formatted button, then you're good to go. Okay, so I know I went through those last few steps a bit quickly. So every time you make changes and you want to see them displayed, you do need to save it. I'm just doing the Command S, that's the hotkeys for save. Okay, if we want to run an HTML file at least to see what it looks like and how it will behave, this isn't doing any like back-end tasks or anything like that, then you can simply find it and you can go ahead and open with some browser of your choice. Safari is fine as well if you want to use that. Google Chrome is the one that I use, so generally when I open it, it defaults to opening in Chrome here. And like I said, we'll have this nicely formatted follow button. If you do not see a button like this, if you see something a little bit more like this, and let's go back, then you do not have the Semantic UI properly installed because this is just an unformatted HTML button. So hopefully you can already start to see the difference and start to see the value in using Semantic UI. So if things are not looking like this, just make sure everything is installed correctly. Make sure your directories are all set up. Again, this practice project should have your index.html, should have node modules, package.json, package.json, and then semantic and semantic.json. Also, make sure that you did do that gulp build and have actually got access to all of the items. When you're ready to move on, we're going to wrap this section up. And then we'll start talking a little bit about containers and how to structure our page. So if you haven't already, do check out some of those examples on the Semantic UI page. It's going to be under layouts, and check some of them out. And when you're ready to move on, let's learn about proper layout techniques. All right, so thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon.